This is Find Your Daily Calm. I'm Sel Gaston. Welcome to Find Your Daily Calm, the show that helps you relax and find peace amidst the chaos of everyday life. Today, we have a special rebroadcast for you from Jason Medlock's show, Expansion of Consciousness. In this episode, I was his guest and we discussed the three brains, a fascinating concept that explores the different ways our three brains process information and how we can use this knowledge to find greater peace and balance in our lives. Curious? Listen in and find out what on earth are the three brains. We are honored to share this episode with you as Jason is a true expert in the field of mindfulness and meditation, and his podcast is a valuable resource for those seeking to expand their consciousness. You can follow Jason on his website at expansionofconsciousness.net and on his social media accounts on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Twitter.
Good afternoon. I'm Jason Medlock, and welcome to the Expansion of Consciousness. I'm your host today for this outstanding show, and we have a very special guest, Sel Gaston, marvelous, talented podcaster, the host of the Daily Calm podcast, which allows you to retreat to your place of peace and calm. And you can find guided meditations and any other literary works that comfort you and give your needed daily dose of calm. And that's what Sel is about: meditation, mindfulness, calmness. And he speaks of a lot of different things with understanding the brains and finding meaning. But I am so excited about our guest, and it's time that we learn how to connect with our inner self, learn how to dive deep into that level of transcendence. And Sel can help answer some of the questions that we have today, which will enable you to experience this peace, to experience this level of calmness. So without any further ado, I'm going to bring in Mr. Sel Gaston. Sel, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Jason. I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
I'm glad you're here, and you have a wonderful profile, and I've gotten a chance to check out the Daily Calm podcast, and this is a unique podcast and a unique line of work that you're doing, and it's focused around meditation and peace and understanding the three brains, and a lot of different things. So tell me what started you on this path.
That's a great question. How I started is always a story that I'd like to tell. It started in 2021, the beginning of 2021. We're actually in the dead center of the pandemic. We're still waiting for things to progress and become better. People were starting to feel, frazzled, frustrated, maybe even scared. I was one of them. And at that time, I was holding a corporate job in learning and development for a multinational insurance company. But I decided to leave. I was part of the wave, maybe the first or second wave, I don't know which wave that was, of the Great Resignation. So I decided to leave, and I said, I have to do something to help other people to find what they're basically missing, which is the calmness. And that calmness will allow them to feel, first, much better and probably even function better in the things that they do, particularly in their work. And I've been a meditator for about 22 years.
Oh, wow.
So I decided, what if I do a guided meditation online? I guess, as they say, the rest was history. I started in May 2021. It took a while before I thought of that idea. And the impetus was because of me and my other friends feeling afraid. I guess I could use that word, afraid of what the future is going to bring us because of the pandemic.
And a successful podcast. I mean, a beautiful podcast,
Thank
Daily
you.
Calm. What inspired you? What inspiration? Led you
Mm.
on your daily calm.
Waking up during the pandemic was both a challenge and a thing to look forward to, if I'm making any sense.
Yeah.
Because uh, you would probably think, what am I going to do today? I couldn't go out. If I did go out, I won't be my natural self because I'm all covered up, especially in these parts. I'm from Manila, Philippines. I'm in the southern part of Manila, Philippines, where restrictions are quite disrupting. It's a disruption of your normal, at least for me, and of my normal life. So both the challenge and the things that I look forward to became the inspiration for that. I was thinking it's not just me who's feeling this way. I've had some friends whom I had conversations with otherwise I would have a natural conversation with them face to face, but I did it in forums like this, maybe in on Viber calls or WhatsApp calls. And that's not natural. Both of us, Jason, I would surmise we came from the Generation X, where we're very, very face to face. We
Yes,
would
it's
love
not
to.
natural for humans not to have contact.
Well, that's true. It's not just about the generation that we belong to. So that was the inspiration. People needed to be centered first before they could relate much better and be able to help other people who are in need of help. And calmness is the first step.
Hmm.
That's how I thought it should.
So, why meditation? What is that? Why meditation? First off,
At 20 years ago, before I started, uh, my brother uh, tagged me along to an orientation of a meditation session. Uh, it's a meditation approach called TM. If you're familiar with it, it's transcendental
I'm a
meditation.
TMer.
Oh, fantastic!
You
So
you notice I said transcendent
there
earlier
you go.
in my monologue, but that level of transcendence, that utter quiet, that peace,
Mm,
that's a number of things can happen there, but the best thing is total awareness of consciousness and just peace.
that's true, and that's where we all came from. That's basically where we resonate from. So when I was at that tag along with my brother, and I said, I'm okay, I'm going to try this out because I was young at that time. And, it was a fantastic thing because I tried it out and I decided, yes, I'm going to sign up. So I was a transcendental meditator. I started becoming a transcendental meditator as early as 2021. So I've been a meditator for 22 years now. That was the inspiration. Though I'm very much a Catholic still,
Hmm.
I found it much more enriching, especially in my practice as in the Catholic faith. And I urge other people who are also who belong to certain religious beliefs because it enriches the things that their religions are teaching. So
Meditation
I
does.
found that. Yeah.
Yeah. So how's it helping you, or just your students? How's meditation helping them?
Oh, it wasn't until I started to teach the toughest crowd in the world, high
Yeah.
school. Remember that? That I saw. I was in the classroom. You know how rowdy they can get.
Yes.
We
I was a
remember that
substitute.
time.
I was a teacher in the freshman level in
Oh,
high
there
school
you
before. Yes,
go. You understand.
I do.
So I come into the classroom and the students being themselves, I was hearing stories, horror stories from other teachers who were older than me that says, you got to be ready, you got to be centered, you have to be calm. always that word calm. And because of the meditation, I enter into the classroom feeling calm in spite of the rowdiness or the ruckus that's happening every time I go to the classroom. And it's somewhat contagious. I'm not saying it's attributed to me personally, but because of my practice, most of the classes that I teach also find themselves calming themselves down, and then we have a great discussion with the subjects that I teach. I
Mm,
taught before, yeah.
mm. So, okay, so when you are, um, you've gotten the understanding that meditation, helps calmness, helps bodily function
Mm.
become even more functional
Mm.
and level, and it helps you in a number of ways. It helps you center yourself. It helps you make better decisions. Meditation even helps you hear the responses that you ask God.
Mm.
You can sit there and decipher between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind,
That's right.
but mindfulness, that's a little bit different,
Yeah.
you know. So the question is then why mindfulness? Why is it used? Um, what's the purpose of it?
Well, people tend to see meditation and mindfulness on the same level. But
Yes.
for me, it has to be seen in a different, though equal footing. When we say meditation, let's compare first the word meditation and prayer, those two words.
Hmm.
Prayer is when you talk to God, when you ask God, when there's supplication, when there's a request from Him, for us to answer a prayer or a request. Meditation is when you listen to Him. So there's a difference. You prayer, asking Him, speaking to Him, having a conversation with Him, and God answers back. And it's in meditation that you listen.
Hmm.
And it's more profound if you really
Or where?
go to that place where there's meditation, when you go deep, as they say, and as your favorite word is transcendence. That is when we transcend,
Yes.
when we hear the voice of God. And hearing the voice of God is not your usual voice with the timbre and the tone and the rate of speech. It's not like that. You go to have to think beyond that. And that's where mindfulness comes in. It could be the wind that's rustling, the leaves that's rustling because of the wind, the sunlight, maybe even the baby that's crying in your neighbor or a puppy that's barking. That's mindfulness.
Can we say that mindfulness can also be related to just the act of being an avid meditator? And I said it a minute ago, Sale, being able to distinguish between this right here, this conscious mind, and
Yes,
this subconscious mind. Mindfulness, the
that's right.
ability to see beyond that and hear the message. It's that low lying information. The first thing that comes to your mind is the message.
Yes.
What makes a person mindful though?
I'd have to say you would have to go through the physical first because that's the gifts. Those were the gifts that were given to us.
Hmm.
And to be mindful, there are certain levels. That's physical, emotional, intellectual, and spiritual. But being mindful in life is being mindful of those four levels, four things that we've been gifted. Let's
Mm.
start with the physical. I've learned and put it together and realized that in transcendence, you also need to understand where you're at and where you want to be. Where you're at right now is we have our physical faculties. We have, as practitioners in the neuro linguistic programming field, they would say you have three brains. First time I heard of that was that's ridiculous. How am I supposed to have three brains?
Yeah. Hard
That's,
mind.
that's right.
Yeah.
But at that time, I was thinking, that's ridiculous because that's going to make me three times smarter. Well, yes. The answer is yes. But you have to be mindful of the head heart.
Yes.
The head mind, the heart
Hmm.
mind, and the gut mind.
Yep.
So head, heart, and gut are your three brains. But just a short uh, data about that or fact about that is that the neural networks in your brain are also present in your heart as well as in your gut.
Why aren't we
Very
taught this
fascinating.
stuff, Sal?
Yeah.
Why aren't we taught this stuff in school, Sal?
I'm sorry. Where?
Why
What?
aren't we taught this stuff in school? Why aren't our schools teaching you that it's more than three brains?
That's a fantastic question. I've also asked that when I first heard about it
Mhm.
because we've all been trained to use the head mind where you figure stuff out in mathematics, in language, in conversation. But we tend to disregard kids that say, I think that's right, but it doesn't feel right. And I don't have the courage to do it.
Mm,
Or it could be the other way around. I think I have to do it. I have the courage to do it, but it sounds ridiculous.
mm.
But then again, being mindful of centering these three minds will give us the the medium to transcend, to understand what what the message is being given to us. Because being mindful of those gifts allows us the transcendence that we're all looking for.
So what's your take on the heart brain?
The heart brain, it's in the middle physically. So I'd like to think that it's also part of the triumvirate that leads the emotion. And we all know that we're driven by emotion. Very few humans, unless you're a Vulcan, that you don't have a heart brain. Maybe they do, but they're very much dominated by their head brain.
Yeah, the heart is the seat of all emotion.
That's right. I agree with that. So that's why the heart brain is very important. I would even dare say that it takes precedence over the head brain and the gut brain.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. And when the heart brain and the head brain are in coherence, the experience that in the level of control you have over this avatar is absolutely amazing while you're in this third dimensional construct. To have that connection enables you to uh, perform any type of healing on your body,
Yes.
speak to your body. Hey, my
Mhm.
ankle is hurting. Can we fix that? That's when you're in that level of coherence. And I'm told, and I've read that you can achieve that through meditation.
That's true. I agree with that 100%. I see I see uh you're a sports fan and you're a sports aficionado yourself. I see the football,
Yeah, yeah.
those like
Former,
championship football.
I was a sports agent, a coach. I played, and I guess that's why we all end up being coaches at some point in our life. We're used to coaching athletes, and you played the game, and you know how to coach someone to be better. But how do you coach a person to find themselves? How do you coach a person to release the pain? How do you coach a person to understand their fears? And those are the real coaches, you know.
That's true. That's true. I agree. Uh, Take for example the pain of certain pains in the emotion
Mhm.
when you're upset. Uh, I would normally ask anger, for example. In a meditation session, I would have a conversation with it by allowing it to be with me in that meditation. And I'd
Mm.
ask it, anger, why are you here? What's up? What gives? What's happening? And then if because of that allowing, you get to understand that because as they say, nothing is as it seems. Maybe sometimes that anger is telling you something, telling you to do something that you ought to do. The gut brain is urging you to have a conversation with your heart and your head brain.
Messages. All these issues that we have within the body are messages.
Yes.
Or before we incarnated, we had to have a way to know if we were heading on the right track.
Yes.
So we have other beings that are watching this incarnation that we're all in, and that when we do go off track from that soul blueprint we put together before we incarnated, and these messages come in the form of gut problems, emotions, trying to get your attention while you're here to change course, and that's why people come into your life. Uh, and that's why Sale is able to come into people's life and help them change and be more mindful and understand how to bring their self to a level of peace. But I'm hearing you talk about some things that you do while you're right there in the uh, transcendence phase of meditation. So those are some new tricks because in TM. It's really easy, it's standard, and it's effective. But when I was talking to my longtime TM coach about I've been able to do some different things while in transcendence, he's like, "Well, yeah, you've been manifesting, haven't you?" I'm like, "It works." When you're at that level of transcendence, while you're minute number 15 or 16 in that 20-minute session, if you start manifesting at that moment, it has worked for me. Sale, have you had that experience, or have you even tried that?
I have plenty of times.
Well, why
It's
won't our teachers and instructors talk to us about it?
well, it's actually in the meditation that they're teaching us to listen. And in that listening, many things happen.
Mhm.
That's where the mindfulness comes in. Sure, we repeat that chant in our head, and we imagine how it sounds if we say it, especially in the TM practice.
Mhm.
But you find that becomes the background or the white noise, as if you were focusing on a work task and your TV is open because you're the type of guy, for example, that wants to have white noise behind you as a background.
Mhm.
But you find yourself focusing already and being mindful of the things that you ought to do or you ought to be accomplishing, which I think becomes the, well, how should I say that? The the background. It becomes the cornerstone of what you need to do.
Right. So let's take a quick dive into find your daily calm, and let's talk about it a little bit so you can enlighten the audience on what you have here.
Yeah.
And I'm going to also put your website here so that people can know how to find you. Redcircle.com. This is Sale Gaston. Ladies and gentlemen, you can find him at redcircle.com/shows/find your daily calm. And on this website, I'll let Sale tell you exactly what he has on here.
Oh, Find Your Daily Calm is a podcast, audio, all audio. It's also on YouTube, but you see an audiogram when you prefer to listen on YouTube. Maybe when you're working, that's what you want to have as a background sound in your workspace. But we're available in Apple and Spotify. What you will find there are guided meditations primarily and literary works that the objective of these works that you will hear read by me and sometimes by guests with amazing voices. Hopefully, I get Jason also to read one of the materials that we have because I find his voice very calming as well. And it's going to be a gift for people who will listen to that. So people listen to it because they're finding the calm of their day. And, it's best to unwind coming from the noise of work or meetings or wherever you came from and unwind and go back to your center. So find your daily calm attempts and aims and hopes that would be the gift that would be given to you on a daily basis. We've had over 330 episodes and running. And if people are interested to know more or hear more of guided meditations and literary works, please let us know because we would love to hear what you think. I've had several people come to me and say, "Could you read Frankl?" course, I read Frankl because Frankl's one of my favorite writers ever. And could you read Exupery? Because my son loves to listen or read Exupery. And I told him, why don't you come read? He's 13 years old. And he said, yeah, Dad, I want to read uh, Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. I said, sure. So we've had several people give him props for reading that. So literary works are also a way to find it. If meditation is not your thing, then I guess literary works will be.
Again,
And a talk like this, yes.
Again, redcircle.com
Yeah.
/shows /find your daily calm. And very seldom do you have a podcast totally developed to meditation and different types of meditation. I think it's awesome. And yeah, I would love to. Let me audition right quick, and I'm gonna audition for you, Sal. This is what I'm gonna say when you have me record. I'm gonna say, move to your place of peace, to a safe and wonderful place. In the induction, when I'm using QHHT, we have to get into our hypnosis voice.
Yeah.
So that the person can believe. I mean, you can't tell a story and you can't get me to visualize. You're saying, do you see the red hat? Isn't it so beautiful? Look at the water moving. So you have to smooth that thing out. So that's kind of that's sort of how I develop the voice, to be able to find a place where the sand flows in the water. And you know how it goes.
That's your gift, my friend. Keep giving.
Yes. So we're running up against some time, but do you want to leave anything with the audience? Any last words? Also, tell us what you're doing new and what you have coming up.
Oh, first off, I wanted to thank you, Jason, for inviting me. And this is also a request, if to get your permission to also rebroadcast this once you've got this out, so I could also direct people to your podcast.
Oh
so
yeah. When we finish and I'm gonna leave you in the back, I'll come back and we'll get all that squared away. Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Yes.
So that's what we're going to do. We also have on Daily Calm some chats like this, these conversations. I've had conversations with people who take care or experience caregiver frustrations.
Uh-huh.
This is a group where they're taking care of people with Alzheimer's or maybe even dementia.
That is huge. That is huge.
It's huge. So we focus that show focused on taking care of the people who take care of those who have dementia, because people in dementia are in a different state already. So we have to take care of those that are tired, frustrated, or exhausted because of taking care of them. I've also had a conversation with her name's Maria Chupkov. She is a stutterer. She the name of her podcast is Proud Stutter. So we decided to create a meditation on how to speak calmly, maybe even be able to live with that stuttering. It's fantastic. So and this one, Jason, which I'm going to rebroadcast, transcendence, is also something that people need to learn, and people ought to learn from you also, Jason.
Yeah. And we both coach people. We both have gone through this walk. We both are TMers, but we can share each other's expressions, because you know who we are, Sal? We are a different aspect of one another. We're just experiencing ourselves in a different way. We're the same.
I agree. Couldn't agree more. Yeah.
All right. Well, you stay there. I'm going to wrap this thing up. I'm going to move you to the back office. Do not go anywhere. Hold on one second. Sal Gaston. I knew this would be an incredible interview. I knew exactly what he brought to the table. 20 years as a transcendental meditator, a mindfulness expert, a daily calm podcast, a podcast dedicated full of meditations, things that can help you. We have to have Sell back because I know he can help in mental health. I know that he understands the three brain and what they all mean: the gut brain, the heart brain, and the mind. The mind brain is so essential to our life. But it was so informative having Sell on the show, and I thank him a whole lot. But I want to thank you guys for continuing to listen to our content, for respecting the platform, and even for subscribing, because the numbers are moving, and I'm glad that you guys are helping out with that. Every time you see Expansion of Consciousness, and if you're watching it on Facebook, here's our Facebook link. If you're watching it on Facebook, that's fine. Watch it there. But ultimately, go to our YouTube page. Go to our YouTube channel. Follow us on YouTube at Expansion of Consciousness, at Expansion of Consciousness. In that way, it really helps our numbers, and it helps more people to see the content that we're bringing to the table.
Thank you for tuning in to this special rebroadcast of Expansion of Consciousness with Jason Medlock on Find Your Daily Calm. We hope you enjoyed hearing our conversation with Jason as we shared our insights on the three brains and how we can use this knowledge to find inner peace and balance. We would like to express our sincere appreciation to the wonderful Jason Medlock for his work in the field of mindfulness and meditation, and for providing such a valuable resource through his podcast. If you enjoy listening to Find Your Daily Calm, please consider supporting our production by making a donation. Your contribution will help us continue to bring you valuable insights and perspectives on mindfulness and meditation. You can make a donation by clicking the donation link seen on our show notes. Every little bit helps, and we truly appreciate your support. May you be calm, may you be at ease, and may peace be with you.